Hello, how's it going? I hope you're doing well, that you're having an awesome day today. Thank you for giving me a little bit of your time to check out part 2, makeup realizations. If you haven't had an opportunity to check out part 1, I'm going to go and link it up here in the card above. It is a long video full of good information, so grab a snack, cup of coffee, something to drink, and sit back and enjoy, because I really love the positive feedback that video has received. I love knowing that I'm not the only one who feels that way. So check out that video. Perhaps you'll feel the same way too, or maybe it'll, provide you some insight to thinking about your shopping, thinking about your makeup collection, and how you want to move forward in the future. Today, I've been doing a lot of thinking on this as well, and I really kind of had it all come together as I was driving around in my car this morning of just a light bulb game-changing moment for me. I'm going to talk about see it, believe it kind of reviews. Now let me kind of qualify that, because there is a lot of back and forth on YouTube about viewers being upset with, especially the larger channels, not spending enough time reviewing products, or they're not thorough enough, or they've moved on 5 products ahead for the sake of sponsorships, and viewers still want them to talk about the product back, that was released months and months ago. And something that finally came together for me is realizing, with kind of the standard beauty YouTube format that happens for a lot of videos, there really is a YouTube beauty product life cycle, for lack of a better term. And there are a series of videos that go around in that life cycle. And if you watch every single one of them, you do get an informed review, but it takes a lot of time, patience, and waiting and dedication on your part without having a lot to show for it, minus the hours that you spend watching YouTube. Does that make sense? I hope so. We have 12 basic opportunities that we're going to go through. Only four of these occasions require actually using the makeup. So I want you to keep that in perspective, because I know a lot of us get sucked up into the hype of products. And you don't even have to be a self-proclaimed beauty junkie to have this affect you. You can be somebody starting off in makeup. You could be decades into your collection. You could just be jumping onto YouTube to see a review on a product before you make a decision to purchase it or not. Every single one of us is impacted at every single step of this process. I also want you to keep in mind, we're talking about one product, one influencer, one company, just one. Just kind of keep that in mind with every one of these scenarios. But it's 12 opportunities for you to see a product, because if you're a larger channel, this is opportunities for you to make money, not only in AdSense, but sponsorships, commission, and further PR opportunities. It also impacts the smaller channels, because again, everybody has the ability to persuade other people to buy or to not buy products based on their opinions, their videos, their thoughts. I want you to comment below to discuss which 4 of these 12 scenarios do you think would be the most valuable of information. Occasion number 1, will I buy it video. Even an anti-haul. Occasion number 2, hauls, unboxing videos. Occasion number 3, first impressions, maybe even a lookbook, kind of a get ready with me style video. Occasion number 4, a wear test. Occasion number 5, swatching and duping videos. Occasion number 6, would I repurchase? Occasion number 7, favorites. And that's kind of its own cycle in itself, because you could have weekly favorites, you can have monthly favorites, you can have seasonal favorites, you can have yearly favorites. So can you already start seeing the trend? This is one product that we're seeing already 7 possible videos, if not more, of just seeing this one item. Then we get to occasion number 8, a makeup bag video. Like, often titled What's in My Makeup Bag, What's in My Everyday Makeup Drawer, What's in My Travel Makeup Bag, Shopping My Stash, or What I'm Wearing. Those are typical titles you'll see. Occasion number 9, a makeup collection video, whether it's a straight up makeup collection or maybe it's going to be a storage idea video. Occasion number 10, an empties video. Occasion number 11, declutter videos. And lastly, occasion number 12, a throwback video. So let's sit here and think, out of those 12 scenarios, which 4 do you think actually require using the product? Because I've come to the conclusion that we set maybe unrealistic expectations on influencers to put out thorough reviews. If you really sift through and watch every single video on the planet, which realistically, who has time to do that? But if you really listen, you do get genuine information. It's just not all at once. And you have to be willing to put in a lot of time and a lot of energy and end up not having a lot to show for it except the time that you've spent watching YouTube. But every single step of this process is money to be made by the influencer, by the company, and also for Google. I mean, because we've got AdSense, we've got possibilities for sponsorships, product placement, commissions, and also too, again, with, especially with a lot of influencers that are promoting their own brands, there's a ton of money potential just in one product with these 12 scenarios, and you can have many, many more too. So there are also 6 common threads of conversation literally every video talks about. So let's talk about our eyeshadow palette, for example. Conversation number 1 is going to be the packaging aesthetics. Is it pretty? Is it not? How does it function with the rest of your makeup aesthetic? Does it complete something in your collection? Then that goes to, discussion number 2, the pros and cons of that packaging. Is it too big? Is it too bulky? Is it too slim? How much product volume is there? Does it feel like it's worth the money in terms of product volume, or does it feel like there's not enough? It's just kind of like the storage conversation. Pros and cons of storing that packaging. Is it travel friendly? Since that's a common thread in a lot of these videos. Then that leads us into discussion number 3, and that is the product layout, the selection of colors in that, and then also pigmentation. We know pigmentation is a big deal because a lot of people want something that is going to be instant gratification. They want a color story that they know is going to work for them. They want a theme. They want a layout that makes sense. And so this is every single conversation, from makeup collection videos to decluttering videos to first impression videos. Do you see what I'm saying? Like constant repetition. We're getting exposed to this one eyeshadow palette this entire time. Then we have discussion number 5, and that's relating that one product to something else. Like, how does it stack up to an eyeshadow palette from another brand? How does it fit within the brand that it's from? Like, let's say the palette comes from ColourPop. How does it relate to the other ColourPop palettes? Are there dupes in that palette to other ColourPop palettes? You know what I mean? Like, it starts a conversation going. And then also, that leads you to discussing the brand in general. How do you feel about it? Are they one of your favorites? Are they a brand that you like using? Are they a brand that you get PR from? Are they a brand that sponsors you? It's a constant flow of conversation that always relates around the same topics. And lastly, that opens up the can of worms on discussion number 6, and that's bringing out more products from that brand. And every single one of these discussion topics is a chance for the influencer to connect with the viewer, to connect that viewer back to the influencer, and to also connect that viewer to the company so that they hopefully have that hunger to buy more. You know what I mean? Like, it's a win-win-win for everybody in terms of marketing, it's a brilliant marketing strategy because these companies are able to, you know, touch one influencer with one product to reach one viewer. Now start thinking of the exposure of this on a much larger scale where you have PR packages, one influencer to one viewer, and you have 12 opportunities at minimum to product placement that one item. It's just mind-blowing. And a lot of times we'll see videos that combine some of those concepts, because you'll have like get ready with me's and first impressions combined together, or empties and declutters combined together. You catch my drift. But at the end of the day, it's still exposure over and over and over that is far more than influencers are often given credit for. And it's also something to keep in mind, the potential of how many times they are making money. I don't know what their contractual agreement would look like with the company for their sponsorships. Maybe it's only one dedicated video, but I mean, especially when you're dealing with the larger influencers and you have 12 opportunities for product placement, as long as you give a 2-minute blip or 5-minute blip, whatever their contractual agreement is, think of how often you could be hearing about that product. It's just kind of like, it's a lot to think about. So every time you hear these videos, whether it's a haul or get ready with me or first impression, like I said, start thinking about these things, because it's the same conversation every single time, but only 4 of those scenarios actually require the influencer to physically use the product. Hopefully they're using it more than that to give you as much information as possible, but there's really 4 realistic occasions where they need to use it. Now, we have that one product and that one influencer and that one brand. Multiply that times the releases from that one brand. Like let's take ColourPop, for example. Since they release something pretty much every single month, 12 opportunities for videos times however many products they're going to release a month. Do the math. And that's just one influencer. Now think about that on a larger scale when you have 10 to 20 people that are receiving PR, and they all have the potential to make 12 videos with that standard YouTube format that we use in the beauty community. Because you are getting reviews, but you have to be willing to be patient and sift through and really make that decision for yourself by waiting. Out of those 12 scenarios, the 4 that I thought would be best related with actually physically using the product would be a first impressions video, the wear test, the duping and swatching videos, especially now when it's more and more common to see finger swatches along with brush swatches using primer versus not using primer. And then lastly with, empties videos, because obviously you have to use the products, and that kind of takes you into the project panning side of it. I mean, you have to dedicate that time and to do that, but it's something to think about. It's a brilliant marketing strategy, because I mean, for each company to only have to contact a handful of people to talk about one product, and of course we know that there's ad nauseum. I mean, even going back to Sophia Nygaard's video, I talked about her in the previous video making the Franken Shadow out of palettes that were made just by influencers, and just this year alone there were around 70 palettes. So if you have 12 video opportunities with 70 palettes, do the math. That's astronomical, and that's just eyeshadow palettes. That's not counting foundations, that's not counting primers, that's not counting bronzers, that's not even counting eyeshadow palettes from the larger companies. That's just influencer related products, and it really just blows my mind. Again, going back to the unrealistic expectations, because I mean, we want our cake and eat it too as consumers. We want thorough reviews at product launches because we want to be on trend and have that makeup item, but we still want that thorough review to make as informed decision as we possibly can. And that takes you to another scenario of, okay, well, is it better watching reviews versus reading first impression reviews on websites or reading blog posts or things like that, and just how much time is taken with our passion for beauty products, and you don't even have to be a beauty junkie for this to take tons and tons of your time. So I just kind of wanted to throw that out there as something to think about, because I mean there's just so much that you have to figure out what's important and worth sifting through to make yourself as informed as you possibly can. So the other thing I want to, just kind of throw out there is the financial aspect of it, because I mean, from a company's perspective, this is 12 opportunities of product placement for endorsement. Very minimal cost. I mean, you don't even have to do professional ad campaigns anymore because you're putting it in the hands of influencers. And, there is the opportunity there to, maybe not disclose sponsorships when you're doing things like makeup declutterers and collection videos and things like that, but there are also opportunities to make money. So I don't know, like I said, it's something to think about when you're contemplating adding a product to your collection, or you're contemplating, is it worth spending your money? Do you trust that influencer to review? Because I mean, this can be somebody who has millions of subscribers to somebody who is just starting their channel, and they are speaking to one person on the other side of that screen, their very first subscriber. It impacts every single one of us on every single level. So I thought it was just, important to kind of throw that out there as another level to really wrap our brains around and understand, because we are inundated with this every single day, every single week, every single month of the year, and not just on YouTube. It's happening on Instagram, it's happening on blogs, it's happening on websites where it's constant influx, and we need to be able to sift through that information to find the good stuff. Take away from this, we've got 12 video opportunities, one influencer, one product, one brand, one YouTube viewer, and every single step of watching these videos and hearing these talking points are there to trigger us to shop. Mind-blowing. So this is just something that I was kind of like, I never really thought about it this way before, but it is so true. And now take that scale where we're talking about more than one product, and it's just from one channel. This is such a brilliant marketing technique that companies have to not only build a relationship with an influencer, but to also build a relationship with each of us, or getting sucked up in the hype of packaging, because like I mentioned, every single one of those videos talks about packaging, talks about pigmentation, talks about layout, talks about color story. And so you get that ingrained on your brain. Maybe that even starts impacting how you look at future products from that company in the future. I mean, of course it does. That's why we get sucked into like, well, if we like one palette, we're going to like the next palette. And then once we get the next palette, well, then it's that much more tempting to complete the collection, because if you have one, you're going to like them all, right? It's definitely, this is game changing for me. Maybe it's going to be game changing for you too. Just how you look at reviews. Okay, if we have 12 opportunities for videos and only 4 of them require actually using the product, I mean, that really is taking patience to distinguish what's good from great and what's not so great. You know what I mean? So comment below, because I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this topic. And so let me know if you're feeling the same, or what you would consider to be the most important aspect of a review to you. What kind of pushes you over the edge to buy a product? Is it that first impressions video? Is it that wear test? Or are you somebody who loves the process of a makeup collection, and when you watch the makeup collection, that kind of jogs your brain to think, oh yeah, I might like to have that for mine, or oh yeah, or is it even the throwback videos? Since kind of the Urban Decay Naked Palettes on the brain for me right now, since a lot of people did pick it up, and it's kind of last hurrah launch before discontinuing and whatnot. Thank you once again for giving me a little bit of your time. I really appreciate it. I hope you found some insight from this video, and that about wraps it up for now. I do have a Pan That Palette update coming, so woo! Pretty excited about that. So I hope you'll stay tuned for that, and take care. I look forward to catching up with you soon. See you later.